Listen carefully, because what you're about to hear will either offend you deeply or explain something you've never been able to put into words. Aquarius is often accused of being the traitor of the zodiac. Cold, disloyal, unreliable. The one who can walk away from people, groups, even entire belief systems without looking back. And here's the part no one wants to admit. They're not wrong. Aquarius is the only sign capable of betraying all 12 signs. Not because they lack loyalty, but because their loyalty does not belong where everyone else thinks it should. Most people are loyal to people. Aquarius is loyal to what they believe is true. And when the truth changes, everything else becomes negotiable. This is not a flattering story. This is not comforting. But if you've ever been left behind by an Aquarius, or if you are one and have never been understood, this will hit harder than you expect. Let's start with the word everyone throws at them, betrayal. For most of the world, betrayal is emotional. It's leaving someone you promised to stay with. It's changing sides. It's breaking loyalty to a person, a group, a shared history. But Aquarius does not define betrayal emotionally. They define it structurally. To them, betrayal is not leaving people. Betrayal is continuing to support something that is no longer true. That difference changes everything. An Aquarius can love you, fight for you, build with you, defend you against the world, and still walk away the moment they realize the foundation is wrong. Not because they stopped caring, but because caring is not the highest authority in their internal system. Truth is, and that's why they scare people. Aquarius is not loyal to emotions. They are not loyal to identity. They are not loyal to shared memories, sacrifices, or everything we've been through. Those things matter to other signs. To Aquarius, they are evidence, nothing more. What they are loyal to is coherence. Does this still make sense? Does this still align with reality as they now understand it? If the answer becomes no, loyalty expires. This is where the story turns uncomfortable. Because Aquarius does not leave impulsively. They don't wake up one day and decide to destroy everything. They leave after a long, silent trial that no one else knew was happening. While others are arguing, Aquarius is observing. While others are defending, Aquarius is testing. While others are emotionally invested, Aquarius is quietly updating their internal map of reality. And by the time they leave, the decision is already finished. That's why it feels sudden to everyone else. That's why it feels cruel. That's why people say, "How could you do this after everything?" But to Aquarius, the everything already collapsed internally long ago. They didn't betray you in the moment they left. They left because the betrayal of truth would have been staying. Here's something most people never realize. Aquarius does not switch sides to win. They switch sides to remain aligned. If the facts change, they change. If new information destroys an old belief, they let it die. They do not romanticize consistency, and that alone puts them at odds with almost everyone. Because the world rewards loyalty to people, not loyalty to truth. We praise those who stand by, even when it's wrong. We admire those who stay silent to protect the group. We call it character. Aquarius calls it intellectual dishonesty. This is why they are the most dangerous member of any group. Not because they will sabotage it, but because they will leave it exposed. Aquarius is the one who notices when a movement becomes propaganda, when a relationship becomes control, when a belief system becomes a prison. And instead of rationalizing it, they detach. They don't negotiate with decay. This is where the accusations start. You changed. You're not who you used to be. You abandoned us. From an emotional standpoint, those accusations make sense. From Aquarius's standpoint, they sound like this. You're asking me to pretend something still works when it doesn't. And Aquarius refuses to lie for comfort. That refusal costs them everything. They lose friends. They lose communities. They lose reputations. They are labeled cold, heartless, ungrateful. What people don't see is the internal cost. Aquarius doesn't enjoy leaving. They simply value integrity more than belonging. And that makes them lonely in a way few signs ever experience. Because Aquarius doesn't just leave people. They leave entire versions of reality. When an Aquarius exits your life, they don't linger emotionally. They don't replay memories to soothe guilt. They don't romanticize what was. In their mind, that version of you and that version of them no longer exists. It's not bitterness. It's cognitive finality. That's why they don't look back. And that's why people call them inhuman. But here's the truth no one wants to confront. Every major evolution in human history required people who were willing to be called traitors. People who left religions when they stopped making sense. People who left nations when justice collapsed. People who challenged traditions that were built on lies. Those people were not loyal. They were aligned. Aquarius embodies that archetype. They are not here to preserve comfort. They are here to disrupt stagnation. And yes, sometimes that disruption looks like betrayal. Let's talk about the moment Aquarius is most likely to walk away. It's not conflict. It's not disagreement. It's not even emotional hurt. It's hypocrisy. The moment Aquarius detects that someone is defending something they know is wrong, especially for personal gain, the internal connection snaps. They can forgive mistakes. They can forgive ignorance. They can even forgive cruelty under certain conditions. What they cannot tolerate is conscious self-deception. When someone continues to support a broken system because it benefits them, Aquarius loses respect instantly. And without respect, loyalty is impossible. This is why Aquarius relationships often end without drama. There's no screaming, no closure conversation, no emotional breakdown, just distance, and then absence. From the outside, it looks like abandonment. From the inside, it feels like stepping out of a burning building. Aquarius does not believe love requires self-betrayal. They believe love that demands you deny reality is not love, it's control. That belief makes them incompatible with many people. Because most people want loyalty that overrides logic. Aquarius wants alignment that survives scrutiny. Here's the paradox that drives people crazy. Aquarius can be incredibly devoted until the moment they aren't. And when they aren't, there is nothing you can do to bring them back. Because by then, the internal verdict is final. They don't leave emotionally and then rationalize it later. They leave intellectually, and their emotions follow. That's the reverse of most humans. And that reversal is what makes them terrifying. You cannot guilt an Aquarius back into a reality they've already outgrown. You cannot appeal to history, sacrifice, or sentiment. Those arguments are meaningless once the core structure collapses. To Aquarius, staying would be the real betrayal. Now here comes the part that splits people into two camps. Some will say, that's selfish, that's heartless. Others will say, that's integrity at its highest form. And that division is exactly what Aquarius triggers wherever they go. They expose an uncomfortable question most people avoid. Is loyalty still moral when it protects something false? Most people don't want to answer that, because answering it honestly would require leaving something they benefit from. Aquarius answers it instinctively, and they pay the price. They are rarely celebrated in the moment. They are often misunderstood while alive. They are called traitors, rebels, deserters. But later, sometimes much later, their departure makes sense. The system collapses. The truth comes out. The lie is exposed. And suddenly, the one who left early doesn't look so disloyal anymore. They look ahead of their time. This is why Aquarius energy is both necessary and dangerous. Necessary, because without it, lies calcify into tradition. Dangerous, because it destabilizes emotional bonds people rely on for safety. Aquarius does not prioritize emotional safety. They prioritize existential honesty. And that's why they can walk away from all 12 signs if necessary. Not because they hate them, not because they don't care, but because none of them outrank truth in Aquarius's hierarchy. If you've been left by an Aquarius, here's something you may never have considered. They didn't choose against you. They chose against a version of reality they could no longer inhabit. And if you are an Aquarius who has been accused of betrayal your entire life, understand this. You are not broken. You are not heartless. You are operating on a different axis of loyalty, one that most people don't recognize until it's too late. The world teaches us to stay. Aquarius teaches us when to leave. And that lesson will always be unpopular, because comfort loves loyalty, but truth demands courage. And Aquarius has never been here to make anyone comfortable. If this hits something inside you, something you felt but never heard spoken out loud, then you already understand why this channel exists. Because there are truths people avoid not because they're false, but because they're uncomfortable. This space is for the ones who think differently, for the ones who've been misunderstood, labeled cold, disloyal, or difficult, when in reality, they were just honest in a world addicted to comfort. Here, we don't sugarcoat. We don't romanticize dysfunction. We talk about the psychology, the shadow, the parts people whisper about but never say clearly. If you've ever been left behind and wondered why, If you've ever been the one who walked away and got blamed for it, if you feel like you don't quite belong in the emotional rules everyone else lives by, you're not alone. Subscribe, not because you agree with everything, but because you're willing to hear what most people won't say. New stories, deeper breakdowns, and uncomfortable truths. Every time. And if this made you uncomfortable, that's probably a sign you should stay.